Crossover SUVs are some of the most popular vehicles in the US market right now. The Tesla Model Y, the Honda CR-V, the Toyota RAV4, the Nissan Rogue are some of the most popular selling vehicles in the US market. But the thing with crossover SUVs, as popular as they really aren't as sleek and sexy as coupes and sedans. They're either like a box on wheels or like a jelly bean or egg on wheels when they're trying to make them look a little bit more curvaceous and good looking. But there is one crossover SUV, in my opinion, and probably in a lot of other people's opinion, that I think is one of the prettiest, best looking ones on the road, and that is the Mustang Mach-E. Hi, this is Joe from Scarff Ford and Isuzu, and today we're going to talk about this 2022 Mach-E GT. Let's dive in. A lot of people, including me, thought it was kind of blasphemous when Ford announced that they're going to come out with their first ever EV vehicle from the ground up, and it was going to be called a Mustang, and it's going to be a crossover SUV. For 60 years, the Mustang has been a front-engine, rear-wheel drive, two-door coupe, or a convertible. How could you take a Mustang name and put it on a crossover SUV? But in actual execution, it looks absolutely beautiful. The creases and curves, the sleek lines, the body curves all the way to the wide hips, the vertical tail lamps inspired by Mustangs from the 60s. This is one good-looking vehicle. Then you have those chiseled lines in the front end, very nice styling. This thing looks amazing. And on top of that, the GT version can definitely keep up with Mustangs, maybe not ultimately on a racetrack, but in a straight line, certainly. This makes it 480 horsepower and gobs of torque from its dual electric motors, 0 to 60 under 4 seconds. In fact, the Mach-E GT can out-accelerate the Mustang Mach-1 GT from 0 to 60. You'll also notice there are no Ford badges on it at all either. Almost like the Mustang name is its own brand. And the great thing too about the Mach-E and the Mach-E GT is that it's a very cost-effective vehicle to own. An EV does not have thousands of moving parts like an internal combustion engine. And we're comparing this to more sports. We're comparing this to performance-oriented vehicles. For the price point that this costs new, the level of luxury and performance, you'd be comparing this to like BMW, Mercedes, premium high-end vehicles. You wouldn't be comparing this to Hondas and Toyotas. This is built to a different standard, a different level than your other Fords of similar size like the Escape and the Bronco Sport. Since there's no engine here, we have this frunk, which is very large. We can see that there's some drink holders, and right there is a drain plug. So you could have I guess not a tailgate party, a front party. You can fill this thing up with ice and have a little party. But make sure you behave yourself, don't drink and drive. I guess Ford, they could have come out with an all-electric two-door coupe, but it probably wouldn't have sold as well as the Mach-E. Like I said, crossover SUVs are the most popular vehicles right now in the US market, so for Ford to come out with their first ground-up EV vehicle being a crossover SUV, it's starting to make a lot of sense. Lots of space back here. You can fold down the rear seats. You have an additional storage under there. There is the charger. There's an inflator kit, no spare tire. Nice spacious accommodations in the rear. Love the design of the front seats. They're very comfortable. They look really nice. We'll also notice that there's no door handles back here. Door handles are nice, but they're a little bit unsightly. It kind of breaks up the beautiful lines and look of a vehicle. So you just have a button right here. You hit it, it pops open, and then you pull it open and you close it. Similar situation up here, but they actually do give you a little bit of a grab handle to open it. Got the nice GT kick plates. Nice premium interior with leather, contrast stitching, kind of this Alcantara type material that continues in the doors, dashboard. We have a big glass roof panel, lots of natural light inside. I love the entry graphics that they have on these things. Really nice. There's that Mustang logo. Yeah, and going back to the fit and finish, you would not compare this with a Honda or Toyota. You know, this thing was about $60,000+ when it was brand new. 480 horsepower, performance handling, refinement, luxury features. This is something that's comparable with like Mercedes-Benz GLC AMG or a BMW X3 M competition. That's what you would compare this to. And in the pre-owned market, these things are excellent values. You can find pre-owned Mach-E's for under $30,000 for some of the older, for some of the, depending on the equipment, the newer, lower mileage ones like this GT are going to be a little bit more, probably something like this, more like in the $30,000 to $40,000 price range. But this has 10,000 miles on it. The thing about EVs, and it's not just Ford EVs, believe me, I know about EV depreciation. I've owned a Tesla for the last 3 years. I own 2 EVs myself. I'm a big fan of EVs. If you're a bargain hunter and you're thinking about getting an EV, getting a lightly used EV is a great proposition. EVs tend to depreciate a lot more than used vehicles. So on the used market, you can find lightly used ones for like $20,000, sometimes $30,000 less expensive than the original MSRP for a vehicle that's only a couple years old, with maybe 10, 15, 20,000 miles on it. When you take a new car and you drive it off the lot, guess what? It just became a used car and it took one of its biggest initial hits of depreciation. We have this rotary dial right here to operate the transmission, pretty straightforward. Park, reverse, neutral, drive. That's a low gear, wireless charging pad, lots of storage. This big vertical screen. I like the analog touch of having this rotary wheel. You can use it to operate the volume on the radio. Also like for the, also for things like the fan speed and things like that. Rear parking camera, overhead camera. There's some cool things you can do. Obviously Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can record voice notes. You can do like a karaoke. You can do karaoke. You can watch YouTube, play some games. Obviously you can't do this while you're driving. Also integrates with Amazon Alexa. Here we can control the feel of the vehicle. You can put it in whisper mode, which is kind of like the easy does it. Drive mode. Engage is kind of like the average. And fitting for a vehicle called a Mustang, unbridled is the performance setting. You can set it up for one pedal driving. You can have propulsion sounds, auto hold. So you can kind of tailor the feel of this vehicle. Some people like the feel of a vehicle rolling. A lot of EVs tend to just kind of stay stopped. When you take your foot off the accelerator, it doesn't start moving again like a regular gas car with an automatic transmission. So, you know, some people are some of us are so conditioned to the feel of our gas car that we want our EVs to feel like gas cars, I guess, till we get used to them. So you can kind of do that with the Mach-E. Then you have this comm screen, which will kind of get rid of a lot of the clutter. So you're not bombarded with all these screens and lights and settings and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a little bit too much for people, especially while night driving. Well, thanks for joining me on this walk around video. We are Scarff Ford and Isuzu. We've been in business since 1922, 103 years. We sell new Fords and Isuzus and a very wide variety of premium vehicles. We have lots of different EVs, Polestars, Teslas, BMW, Mercedes EVs, Porsche EVs, of course, our own products, the Mach-E's, E-Transits, Lightnings. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.